Tuesdays, 9 p.m. on TV 33. Join me, Barry Ross, on Mixing It Up. We'll feature informative community organizations that will offer solutions to Wayne County residents in reference to employment, safety, and security within neighborhoods, job training, education, and mentoring programs. Remember, Tuesdays, 9 p.m. Join me, Barry Ross, Mixing It Up on TV 33. Good evening, everyone. My name is Barry Ross. I want to welcome you to another segment of Mixing It Up. We broadcast to you live on TV 33, WHPR, in most of Detroit, but not all of Detroit. You can also catch us on Comcast on cable, on Comcast 20, and it also follows suit. Not all of Detroit has it on Comcast. It's just certain areas. But if you have a computer, you can go to TV33, WHPR.com, and we want you to know that this is a community station, community show. I care about you. I care about your involvement. I need your involvement to make my show better. We want you to ask important questions. We want your ideas and opinions. Please call these numbers scrolling across the screen. They're all 313-868 numbers, 0351, 4336, and 0352. This show, Mixing It Up, is always 24/7. If you missed the show tonight, you're watching a State of the Union, and you're hearing me now, you can always go to YouTube at ROSSB like boy, D like dog, 51. Everything is dumped into my YouTube, and I have a Facebook page. I have a permanent Facebook player. It's stationary. If you go to Mixing It Up and you join, you're going to hit the word like, and then you're going to hit videos. All my shows comes up. And on YouTube, everything I've ever done, all my community work on the streets, all my marches, all the board ups I've done, they're all there on YouTube. Tonight's show, I have one very special guest tonight, and due to the nature and the content of what's going on conventional TV tonight, we're making it sort of light. I'm going to run some videos later on, but we have a very, very important man. He's an educator. He's a devoted educator. He's an author, and I believe he's a motivational speaker, because the first time I heard him, he certainly woke me up. I was at a panel discussion event, and he was one of the most profound speakers I've ever heard. So, and a lot of things move me. When I hear somebody that's passionate and exciting and got something to offer, I want him. I want him here. And you know we're having a deep-seated problem with the lack of interest in the culture and the African community, with children getting educated, to say the least. We have the EAA schools that, in my opinion, are set up to fail, and most conventional schools don't have the passion to teach these children. And not only that, a lot of these children come into school, they either haven't eaten, they got abuse in the home, they're walking to school past these abandoned houses, and if that was me, I'd have a hard time learning. He's got some answers to some of these problems. Now, I want to tell you that I have a very close friend who needs a liver transplant. Her name is Leanne Katzman. This woman has spent half her life serving the community, working with HIV clients, working with recovering drug addicts, men and women that have drug problems. She has spent her life serving. We want to help her. There's a brand new procedure. Her liver is gone. She's on a transplant list, but she might not live long enough to be able to receive it. In the event you want to do something for Leanne, check this out. They can take a slice of your liver, a small portion of your liver, in the event that you qualify. You know, the right blood type, tissue type. You have to fall in a certain category, I think between 18 and 50. And in the event that you have the heart and you want to save this woman, they take a slice of your liver and it regenerates within her in a short period of time. She can regrow a liver. It's awesome. So I'm going to continue to announce this for Leanne. At Henry Ford Hospital, you're going to contact 313-916-1826, NEME, N-E-M-M-E, Bell Train. I'm going to repeat this, 313-916-1826. We know this is a lot to ask. We hear you. Have a heart. This woman is losing her life slowly but surely on a daily basis. Her liver can't function. It's not functioning. She's on dialysis. She's not going to make it. We want to save her. It might be months before there's a liver available, and I don't think she can make it. We want to help her. So let's do that. Last weekend, we went on the east side of Detroit on Moraine, just near McKinney. The American Coney Island had a murder November 10th of 2012 for Shannon Mullen. He was 25. He got murdered at 3 a.m. in the morning. And we went out with the family, with Edna Washington, her church members. I had the support of Benny Napoleon and the Detroit Police Department, thanks to James Tolbert, Deputy Chief, and Malik Shabazz and his people. And we went on the streets and we went to the neighborhood canvassing, handing out flyers from Crime Stoppers. We believe we have some information that might lead to the person or persons that killed this lady's son. So we're going back out in 2 weeks from this coming Saturday. We're not going to let it lay. We have to get involved in our communities. You know, somebody said to me, a close friend of mine said to me, Barry, you know, you can get killed going out in the streets. And I said, you know what? If I died standing up for something I believe in, then I have to say that I'm a success. And I'm not saying this to be bad or heroic on my show. This is really the truth. What I do in the community is keeping me alive. Because when I stopped doing drugs years ago, I wanted to take my own life. And this is really the truth. So giving is what's sustaining my life. So it's important to us to find a reason, whatever that may be, even if it's poetry, even if it's taken to the elderly lady around the corner, whatever it is, we need to give of ourselves to get out of ourselves. We can't live in here. And living in here, for me, is a bad place. It's bad company. When I'm at home alone and I'm not getting out, it's not the same as when I'm getting out and making a difference. And even if it's like taking a glass of water out of the ocean, because we had 411 murders last year, and it's like being a salmon going upstream, I know I tried. And it's better to try and succeed to do nothing and fail. Actually, it goes the other way around. Listen, I just want to make one quick announcement. Tomorrow at Henry Ford Community College, there is a business forum. I happen to be on this panel tomorrow. It's going to be from 12:30 to 2:30. It's at Henry Ford College in Dearborn, 5101 Evergreen, at the Rosenau Conference Room. We're going to be talking about what it takes to start a business, what it takes to keep a business going, and what are the pros and cons of starting a business today. And that's very important, so we want you to come out and join us tomorrow. Carlos Top is putting us on. He's a young student, the Better Detroit Youth Movement. Now, my guest, Eddie Connor, he's got after-school programs, literacy programs, leadership programs, life skills, and you know these young men need some help. We need to show them that we care. We need to show them that there's a way out other than what they think it is. You know, so many of them are interested in doing the things that will bring them material gain and not live and saying that they had it all and dying at a young age. We need to give them a reason to live and let them know that the future can be rich and prosperous by doing something legitimately. Having a family, raising a family. I don't think there's a greater gift on this planet other than giving than by putting what you know within your child and raising a child. Eddie, thank you very much for coming here
Hey,
tonight.
hey,
Thank
Barry.
you.
Glad to be
I
on.
didn't make you cry, did I?
Hey, you know, you're sparking that inspiration, that empowerment, and that's what it's all about. Appreciate you being a community pioneer and somebody, you know, who readily just is transparent and shares their story to enrich and empower somebody else. And
Thank
you know, that's
so
what I'm
kind of
endeavoring
you.
to do.
I like to believe I am relatively transparent.
Absolutely.
If there's anybody, you know, like I have, and I won't get into me, it's just about you here, but I have a couple nonprofits. Anybody wants to check my books, they're open all the time. We want everybody to know that if you give me money for my organization, it's going to the right place.
Right, right.
And, you know, action speaks louder than words. A lot of people talk a good game, and they're about something else.
That's right.
I believe you're about something else. You're about the right thing.
Absolutely.
You're a teacher, educator. Tell us about yourself and your background.
Well, you know, I'm a son of the city, born and raised Detroit metro area. Live on the east side, east side of Rider for all the people listening. And you know, just love the city. And I'm one of those who believes that Detroit is not on the verge of a breakdown; it's on the verge of a breakthrough. And the reason I can say that is because of the myriad of situations that I've been through, growing up in a single-parent divorced household. And I know some people listening, well, I've heard that story before. But also coupled with having to deal with one of the greatest challenges in my life at the age of 15, and even being diagnosed with cancer at the age of 15, sophomore in high school, having to fight something that was literally killing me and destroying me from the inside out. Not even my own biological father visited me one day in the hospital.
Oh, my God.
Diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, to be young, to be black, to be male. To think, of course, when you're young, you think you're just invincible for the rest of your life, but thinking about, you know, who you are and how you're going to overcome obstacles at a young age, to have to grapple with that is really something that shaped me from a very, very young age. Dealing with chemotherapy, radiation, 5 days of the week, and trying to find some a testimony in the midst of my test, trying to find something that would give me some strength in the midst of the struggle that I was dealing with. But the reason I'm here is, you know, and sharing today is, you know, I'm healed and blessed and alive by the grace of God. And because of going through that situation, I tell people all the time, you know, the first three letters in cancer is can. And that's the mindset that I had to say, I can overcome, I can live through dying places, I can turn this test into a testimony, I can make it. Just the simple fact of that. And that's really what I translate into the lives of people when I talk with them, when I've developed this program, Boys to Books, going to school, graduate of Eastern Michigan as well as from Marygrove College with a master in reading and literacy, as well as I've written 3 books now. And, you know, translating that power, that spirit of I can, that we can, that you can make it, is really what I've invested into the lives of the young men who I mentor in the program Boys to Books, which is dedicated and really relegated on empowering young men through literacy, leadership, and life skills. You know, and really, you know, it goes back to that whole concept, especially when you talk about young black and Hispanic males. They say if you want to hide something from a black man, put it in a book. And we can see that there is a direct connection between illiteracy and incarceration that is translating, that is ravaging many of our communities, that is ravaging many lives. Not only when you're incarcerated is it just you solely, but also the family that you have is incarcerated as well. And so breaking people out of a cycle of mental slavery and impoverishment, to have empowerment in their lives, to say, I can make it, I can be a community innovator, I can be someone who opens a business, I can translate the gift and the talent and the purpose that I have into my life, but also replicate that in somebody else's life. And so really that's the motivation, that's the driving force behind me to look at the problems. And I heard somebody say, you know what, every problem that you see is a business. And I know you just talked about that spirit of entrepreneurship. Every problem that you see is a business. You have to have the vision to say, you know what, I'm going to have the vision to, and then engender the provision that I can make it and that I can sow a seed of empowerment to somebody else's life. And that's really what I do. That's really what I'm all about, giving, nurturing, and empowering somebody to overcome and make it.
My God, I just have to, if we can for a minute, sort of digress back. When you were 15 and your parents, your single parent home, how did you find, where did the impetus come from to endure this torturous chemo. What kind of positive where did you find this reinforcement of positive energy that was coming in you? Where was it coming from?
Well, you know, I have a very, very strong-willed mother who said, you know, I'm not going to lose a son. And she said, you're going to take off the pity party hat. You're not going to wallow in, you know, your mess, and you're not going to feel sorry and sad for yourself. You know, she said you're going to move from self-pity to self-empowerment. And that coupled with, as well, my faith in God and me saying, you know what, a knockdown is not a knockout. Everybody gets knocked down.
That's how many times you get up.
That's right. The difference between a person who's knocked down and who's knocked out is the person who stays down. A knockdown is not a knockout unless you stay down. So you got to get back up. You got to get back in the ring. You got to get back in the fight. And I had to ask myself, is there enough fight left in me to overcome?
15.
Yeah,
15.
yeah. To even ask that question. Yeah, I feel like, you know, sometimes to a certain degree I was an old soul at even a young age. But that, I think, moved me on that path to say, you know, if I can beat cancer, I can empower somebody. I can overcome any obstacle that's standing in my way.
I have not to interrupt you. I have to tell you. I don't know if you or if I had mentioned. I had prostate cancer.
Oh, really?
I'm 61. When I was 50 on my 50th birthday, I found out that I had it, and once I had the actual surgery, I went through the worst depression. So that's why I'm asking you. I'm a big proponent of what makes people get through adversity. You know, I see people, when I used to have a business downtown, they'd come into my store with one leg and they're smiling.
Yeah.
Where are you getting this attitude? Where did the resolution come from? How long did it take for you to accept this fact? So you're telling me your mother was behind you. Was your mother an educated woman?
She
That's
is.
right.
Yeah, she's 30-year teacher of special education.
Okay, I would love one. My hat goes off to your mother, and you know, behind every great person, there's some woman somewhere, somebody great in her family that drives us. And,
absolutely, and I think it also goes along with the mindset. You know, when we begin to change our mind, sometimes our situation doesn't change, but we have to change our mind in the situation. We have to literally think positive in the negative situation. You know, we don't give as much credence and credulity and credibility to the power of the mind that we have.
No question.
You know, it's this specific power and purpose that we have on the inside of us. That mind helps us to break out of the situation, even though we're in the situation. If we break out of it mentally, even though our situation doesn't change, if we change our mindset, the situation ultimately has to change.
Do you know, and I want to get into what you do. I have some time anyway. I hope you do. Do you know that when we cry, the chemical composition of the tears of joy, many don't know, you can cry over a good thing. So the chemical composition over joy as opposed to grief is different, and our body knows this. Our chemistry knows this. This is how infinite we are within our chemistry and our mind. It is very hard, even today, for me. When I wake up in the morning, I have to do so much to combat what this tells me. Just because we think something, that doesn't mean it's true. Right. We fall prey to our thoughts, humanity in general. So I just wanted to throw that in.
Yeah, you're right.
What I went through. So you beating cancer at 15 is awesome. It's awesome, and I don't minimize that for 1 minute. That's why I wanted to talk about it for a minute. And you're an educated. You have a master's.
Yes, sir.
That's
yes,
amazing. So, and this is wonderful. So, an African American man doesn't have to be illiterate. He can go to school. He can learn. He can become successful. He can become happy. Tell everybody. You have the capacity to be anything you want to be.
Without a doubt. And, one thing I think, especially as a culture, we fall prey to the stereotypical myth of the media that says a black man has to be a thug, has to be some type of drug pusher, has to be somebody who's doing something
they expect
illegal.
Us.
Right, they expect us to. But, I'm about breaking the boundaries. I'm about breaking the box. And I'm about bringing other young men out in that mindset to, especially with this program, it's a nonviolent revolution through education is what I call it. not pushing young men into the prison system, but pushing them to Princeton. Not going to jail, but going to Cornell and Yale. Not doing 4 years in a prison house, but doing 4 years at Morehouse. And in order to do that, you got to believe that you can. You got to flip the script on your hustle. You got to say, by any means necessary, I'm going to make it. And not only am I going to make it, I'm going to bring somebody else with me. You know, in the book by W.E.B. Du Bois, The Soul of Black Folks, he talks about the talented 10th going back into the 90s. It's not just enough for somebody to move from the hood to the White House, but it's enough for somebody to go back into their community, go back into the place where they came out of, and help somebody else pull them out of the trenches.
Excuse me, they're not doing that in Detroit. Yeah. It seems like people are getting affluent and leaving and not coming back. There were so many things you said that I wanted to. Prison. Yeah. The industrial complex. Don't be fooled by how I look, because I've learned a lot in these last few years. I guess we can never take it for granted, but I believe a minority, especially a young African American, young, maybe even a child, is set up to go to prison. Lack of education. I mean, if you take the city of Detroit, not enough adequate lighting. The police don't come, generally, when they're called. I wish I had a dime for how many murder investigations or families that have come here, and I say, well, how's the investigation going? They said, I haven't talked to the homicide detective since the first day. Schools closing. Parents that don't even know where their child are supposed to go or don't have transportation to get them to these particular schools. Teachers that don't care anymore. The abandoned houses. The prison system, I hear the industrial complex is one of the top Fortune 500 company businesses in the entire world. Yeah. Big business. Yeah, big business. They want you to fail. Yeah. They want you to go commit a crime, come in, get housed, go out and come back.
And then especially, you know, when you have the record, they lock you out of opportunities for employment when you get out, opportunities for success in business. And so guess what? It places that whole aspect of recidivism, right, to where you're going back into prison. And you know, it's a setup. It's a cycle. And even Dr. Jawanza Kunjufu, in his book, The Conspiracy to Destroy Black Boys, talks about how they build prisons based on 2nd and 3rd grade reading scores. And the majority, we know, especially who are really failing in that reading and literacy level, are Black and Hispanic young males. And, you know, they're going to prisons now. 60% of the prisoners are under the age of 18.
They're waiving 14-year-olds and putting them in general population with the adults. Isn't that correct? That's what I hear now. Yeah. Okay, so we understand this structure. Yeah. What are you exactly all about? What are you giving? How do these programs work? Where are they? How are they being facilitated? Where can people get involved? What are their choices? Yes. What do you suggest? All this. Take it away.
Well, you know, as we talked about the statistics, as we talked about, you know, what's going on, we can see it's a dire need right now. And it's really as Dr. King would talk about, the fierce urgency of now. Boys to Books is an after-school mentorship program. We're nestled right now out of University High School and seeking to expand into the Detroit public school system as well as surrounding communities and churches. I test the reading levels of all the young males who are in the program. Free testing for those young males to see where their reading level is, but also providing them with rich literature books that are culturally relevant to where they see their lives reflected in what they read. You know, we want, school systems have the Great Gatsby that is, you know, available for the young people to read, but oftentimes when young men open up a book, their eyes are closed. Why don't we give something that's going to unveil to them their greatness? More
relative to where they're coming from.
Exactly.
Sure.
And so I bring that in, and then I also bring in positive mentors and speakers, people I brought in such as Yusef Shakur, Shaka Senghor, brothers who have gone through the system, hard times, and have overcome those obstacles. Brothers who may be in Fortune 500 companies, brothers who are running their own businesses, to let these young men know you can do more than just bounce a basketball, rap on a microphone, and throw a football.
Dare to be different.
Absolutely. And letting them know, there's a quote by Tavis Smiley. He says, young people are like Kodak film. all they need is development and exposure. And so when we expose young people to various opportunities and develop them and unearth to them the greatness and the richness that's on the inside of them, that's when they can have hope. That's when they can say, you know what, I'm going to look at where I'm coming from on the east side, where I'm coming from off Mack and Bewick, where I'm coming from wherever I am, and see that I can be the rose that grows through the concrete. I can make it.
I have to ask you, how relevant, and I believe I know how pertinent this is, but I just want to hear your side. Do you agree that young African American, young boys, young men, and young ladies and young women need to know the background of their ancestry thousands of years ago so they could see the greatness that lies within them that they don't think could this be some, I would think this is some kind of impetus. I also think that the South has a different idea who won the Civil War than we do in accordance to, in the history books. So what the children are being taught and not being taught in public school, do you promote the cultural history as well?
Absolutely.
Okay.
And of course give great deference to people like Martin, Malcolm, and Rosa. But I let the young brothers know that it's more than just about them. You come from a rich history of great kings and queens. You come from people who were
architects.
Absolutely, architects, astronomers, people who built the pyramids.
Right.
You come from those type of people who thrived in math and the sciences. Don't tell me what you can't do. It's time for you to rid that mentality of what you can't do. Delete the letter T from the word can't and turn into what you can do. Motivate yourself. Empower yourself. If they could do it without the internet, if they could do it without a bevy of information, we have an ocean of knowledge, but so many people are drowning in ignorance. It's time for us to take back our mind, to take back our life, to take back the character and the purpose that we have on the inside and become self-motivated, become self-willed, and then translate that and cause that to trickle out into the communities. Literacy is that basis. Understanding keen information and wisdom is the basis for being an entrepreneur, is the basis for being economically effective and efficient, for being fiscally
sound.
Fit. Yeah, and sound. And so all of that has a ripple effect and a repercussion. If we don't teach them to read, really, you go back to slavery. I know some people call it the Django, but Django without the D.
Right.
So many people, especially looking at how slavery was just categorized in the cinema and the film and the silver screen. 200 plus years ago, it was illegal for black people to read.
No question.
And the slave master understood that if I teach black people to read, not only do I take off the chains physically, but also psychologically.
Mental side.
Exactly. Education is the death of mental slavery. When I unchain myself psychologically, the physical chains will have to come off. The sad tragedy is that even though we're physically free, we're psychologically enslaved. Psychologically believing what we can't do because somebody told us in our family you'll never be the first millionaire, you'll never go to college, you'll never graduate from high school.
Sure.
If nobody ever did it, you have to have the mindset to say, I'm going to be the first one and I'm going to get it done.
It takes a lot of courage.
Exactly.
The beyond the education, the Willie Lynch is alive and well today. Now, like I said, somebody that looks like me, I'm convinced that the teachings on the plantations, teaching the owners of plantations how to get the most out of their slaves other than beating them, has propagated for 500 years. The separation that goes on, black on black. Now, I'm not mad at black on black crime. I just see what I see. Black on black crime, not being able to unite. Why all these different issues that are alive today, the features, making black folks believe they're features. All these things, are they alive today?
Without a doubt.
Okay.
And it goes back to the Willie Lynch letter as he talked about really causing a divide, is causing disunity between people who are on the plantation.
Right.
Because if I'm pitting myself up against the person who should be on my team versus focusing on the oppressor, then automatically I'm staying enslaved. And that's why Harriet Tubman had to say, I would have freed more slaves if only they realized they were slaves.
Wow.
That's why she had to take a gun back with her, even on that Underground Railroad transition and trip, to let people know, to say, hey, you know what, if you're going to turn your back, you know what, I'd rather shoot you than you snitch on me, because this is about death or life right here. Don't just put your hand to the plow and then look back. I would have freed more if only they understood that the oppressor is the one holding and dangling really just their lives. You're the puppet here. It's time to be the puppeteer. It's time to cut the strings and get control of your life. And we have to do that through not just formal education, because formal education will make you a living, but self-education. That is what will make you a fortune. Some of us will never go to college, but we've attended the University of Adversity. We've gone to the School of Hard Knocks.
Right on. That's what I have on my LinkedIn page, where I graduated from Hard Knocks.
Yeah.
It's very profound. Now, let me just ask you. When you say university, are you U of D on 7 Mile and Roselawn?
No, we're on 9 Mile in Paxton. We're actually in conjunction and interconnected with right off of Woodward area. We're in conjunction and connection with Lawrence Tech University.
9 in Woodward?
Yes, 9
Are
Mile
you on Woodward?
Right off of Woodward at the old Wilson Academy.
Near Dunkin' Donuts and all that?
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, I know where that. Okay, now, so you have a program there.
Absolutely.
What about if some parents are listening and they want to get their son? This is young men and young women, or predominantly young men?
All young
sexes.
men under the age of 18.
Okay.
Just boys.
What if they want to get them involved in a program, but you have capacity to handle more students there?
Absolutely. You know, and actually, I've just recently partnered with Conley Library, which is located off of Michigan Avenue in the city of Detroit, to where I can now hold various meetings in that auditorium that they have. They've given me liberty to be able to do that. And so, you know, if you're listening, and if you want to be a mentor, if you want to be a literacy tutor, if you want to be an instructor, if you just want to come and share and help to really engender a spirit of empowerment, I encourage you to reach out to me. The number is 313-469-1947. Again,
Website, phone number?
Yes,
website?
313-469-1947. As they say, the revolution not be televised. It'll be online. I don't want you to miss it. EddieConnor.com. That's EddieConnor.com. When you have a vision like this, not just one person can contain it and hold it. It's got to take a hands-on deck. All avenues approach. If you're a pastor, if you're a leader in the community, I'd love to bring this to your church, your community center, your school, wherever it is. This is a mobile movement right here. And I want to bring this to where we meet the young men where they are and make it relevant.
Are these classes every day?
Well, you know what? Really, I've been meeting on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Okay.
So
I have to tell you my dream.
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking to get a building and put in like-minded nonprofits in with me rent-free, and we would share in utilities. I already have, Emmett's one of them.
Okay.
Malik Shabazz.
Yeah.
It takes a village. I have some really good. As time marches on, the more active I am in the community, the more I realize the credible people who, what somebody appears to be, later on I might find out something totally different, their agenda, and I've been fooled. And my aspirations are that we would have something with an auditorium. I'm going to have this within a year. I'm meeting with a realtor now. I'm just trying to figure out if I'm better off buying it and then giving it to my organization, or what's legal, what's not. Okay, so are you sustaining yourself on this 2 or 3 days a week? Do you have a vocation as well? You must be doing something.
Well, you know,
you look very clean.
Don't let the smooth taste fool you. I've been blessed to be able to recognize my gifts and really be able to turn that gift into something that would help to profit. So I have a background in 8 years as an educator on the school system, but also, like I said, I've written 3 books now, and then I go around and preach and speak and do motivational speaking at various churches, whatever arena it is. And I share my story.
Listen, could you tell everybody the name of your books?
Yeah.
And I'm going to let you, we got a few more minutes. I'm going to let you take control of this. and we're not getting any calls. I'm sure people are watching the State of the Union tonight. But I want to have you back, and I'm going to have some events this year. I certainly would like you to come and hit the people.
I'd love to.
Hit people how they need to be heard, what they need to hear.
Be honored to.
Let's talk about your books. What are the names of the books? Are they available? Can they buy them online?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Right at the website, again, EddieConnor.com, EddieConnor.com. My first book is Purposefully Prepared to Persevere, which I share about my story of overcoming cancer in great depth and great detail than what I'm going into right now. Really the pain and the transparency that I really exude and allude to in the book. Really blood, sweat, and tears, sharing that, but also giving people power to overcome their obstacles and talking about your gift, talking about your purpose, talking about ways to overcome those obstacles and how to handle depression, how to handle sadness and grief and despair. The things that we deal with that most people don't really want to talk about. I take it there. Then I have a second book called Collections of Reflections, Symphonies of Strength. It's a 3-volume set of poetry where I'm kind of giving my perspective, a panoramic view on so many different topics, relationships. And I know we got Valentine's Day coming up, but you can't expect love if you aren't love yourself, if you don't become that.
Say that again.
You can't expect love if you don't become love, because when you become love, that's what you attract. And so being your first Valentine and understanding, God's love as well is very, very important and significant. And then I have a third book. I know the State of the Union is going on, but this I think is very imperative to it. Econ the Icon, from pop culture to President Barack Obama. And right through there, I'm speaking about politics. I'm looking at the black struggle, but I'm also looking at really where America is going on its trek and where we have been and where we're, in many cases, on a downward spiral.
That's for sure.
Now, and also looking at the world and also giving people reasoning to understand and help them to navigate and help them understand that their value is not in what they have. Their value is in who they are.
Wow.
Whether I got $50 million, $50 or 50 cents in my pocket, I still have to know who I am.
It's not your watch. It's
Exactly.
not your clothes.
Exactly.
It's not your car, and it's not your house.
Exactly.
It's not even your wife. Value is
Yeah,
within you,
that's
and then
right.
you enhance. Somebody else can only enhance what you have. Do you
That's
agree?
right. That's right.
So often we think, women especially, look for love and find love in me, expecting me to fill a void in them. And then when they lose me, they're lost. Or I lose them. I mean, I know I've done it as well.
Right.
Nothing and no one can fill you up. I really believe that God is the only answer.
Right. People are a benefit, but they're not a necessity.
That's right.
And that's one thing that we need to understand.
Even
and
though there's
realize.
nothing wrong with love and people, we're not saying that.
That's right. That's right. And, so I really just talk about those books, and actually they're available on the website, Amazon, $10. And I know they'd be a great, great empowerment tool to help you. And so, I share about that, and I just really just keep it real and really just share from the depth of my soul. I'm just a man who really was on his deathbed, really was knocking at death's door, and to come back from that, if you can't feel me tonight, I think you need to check your pulse, because I'm very passionate, but I'm very, very keen on empowering people, and I think that's really what my life is all about, giving empowerment and letting people know that you can live through dying places.
Listen, we're gonna take a break, and I'm gonna say goodnight to you, and I have a plan for you on this break I want to discuss with you. Just real quick, give your name again, and give the website and your phone number if they want to get involved, mentor, buy the books, what have you, and then we're going to take a quick break.
Absolutely. Eddie Connor wants you to check out the website.
Wait, excuse me.
Oh.
I forgot. How long is the video?
The video's a few minutes, about 7 minutes, I believe.
All right.
But again, the website, EddieConnor.com, EddieConnor.com. Go there on your smartphone, your computer, whatever, as well as get involved in the program Boys to Books. That number is 313-469-1947. And of course, got a little video here.
But we're gonna take a 1 minute. We're gonna take a 1 minute break, and then when we come back, you're gonna just introduce the video.
Be glad to.
Okay. So hold on. We'll take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Everyone, stay tuned. 9 p.m. on TV 33. Join me, Barry Ross, on Mixing It Up. We'll feature informative community organizations that will offer solutions to Wayne County residents. in reference to employment, safety, and security within neighborhoods, job training, education, and mentoring programs. Remember, Tuesdays, 9 p.m., join me, Barry Ross, mixing it up on TV 33.
1,000 men's suits. And right now at Sermons, you can buy one and get two free. Not one suit, but two free. Buy one suit, bring two friends. Buy one suit, bring two relatives. Buy one suit, get two free. Bring your pastor, your boss, your teacher. Buy one suit and get two free. Sermons with 90 years of experience, carrying jeans, exotic skin shoes, sets, shirts, leathers, sweaters, everything for the well-dressed man. Buy one suit, get two free. Sermons on Randolph in downtown Detroit.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special bulletin.
Did you know that there are over 100,000 abandoned homes within the city of Detroit? If you are tired of abandoned dangerous houses in your neighborhood, please support the Greater Detroit Restoration Project. Please make all checks and money orders payable to the Greater Detroit Restoration Project. The mailing address, 17301 Livernois, Suite 405, Detroit, Michigan, 48221. All donations will help fund the expense of boarding up abandoned homes within the city of Detroit and Highland Park. For more information, contact Barry Ross at 248-417-9696 or Minister Malik Shabazz at 313-646-3375.
Hey, come on. Man, what is taking so long? Let's play.
Just get a number.
Whose number?
Narcotics Anonymous.
Hey, if you need to talk.
No way, it's not for me, it's for my brother. He's constantly wasted. Come on, hoop time. Can you tell me about NA?
Call Narcotics Anonymous. We can help you.
All right, we're back. Eddie Connor is going to introduce this video, and then we're going to show it. Take it away, Ed.
Hey, Barry, again, it's been great being on the program. And this is a video that I was speaking at actually the African Methodist Episcopal Conference and talking about Boys to Books and just giving a little bit of empowerment in my own way. So
Okay.
I think you'll enjoy it.
Okay, let's take it away.
Entitled Boys to Books, which has been created simply to disrupt the school to prison pipeline. And real quickly, Boys to Books is a nonviolent revolution through education. Simply because 60% of all prisoners are now under the age of 18. 80% of prisoners can't read or write. So when grandma and them, mama and them, baby mama and them are writing these prisoners, they're not reading these letters. Sometimes the security guard or the warden has to read it to them because they cannot read. They cannot understand basic information. There is a new Jim Crow that's taking place to disrupt the lives of black people, our black young males. Notice that there is no conspiracy to destroy black men, but there is a conspiracy to destroy young black males. They're building prisons based on second and third grade reading scores. It's one thing for us to shout up in here, but we got to get active out there. We've got to empower our young people to let them know you don't have to go to prison. You can go to Princeton. You don't have to go to jail. You can go to Cornell and Yale. You don't have to do 4 years, in a prison house. You can do 4 years at Morehouse. Parents, I want your young man, if you're under the age of 18, I want you to be a part of this program. You can write down this information to contact me even further about Boys to Books. I want this in your community, in your church, in your school, in your community center. The number is 313-469-1947. That's 313-469-1947. Or you can check out more information because the revolution will not be televised. It'll be online and it'll be out in the street, and I don't want you to miss it. EddieConnor.com, EddieConnor.com. We can't let BET, MTV, and PlayStation 3 raise our kids anymore. We can't let Beyonce and Nicki Minaj raise our young people. We've got to break the cycle tonight. We've got to break the cycle to let our young people know you don't have to be no player, no pusher, no pimp. You can be a president. You can be a Fortune 500 CEO. You don't have to shake it like a salt or pepper shaker. You can allow God to shake you, mold you, make you, and take you to where he's called you to be. Why am I saying this? Because you're looking at somebody who was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. At the age of 15, I was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. The doctor told my mother, we can't promise anything. He told me, don't even ask why. After being diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, my cells were replicating so fast that when the doctors cut me open, they could see them growing through with the naked eye around my trachea, esophagus, around my heart. The enemy told me I wasn't going to see my 16th birthday. The doctor says, don't ask why, but that's all I did was ask why. For 18 months, chemotherapy, radiation. My own biological father never visited me one day in the hospital. People wrote me off. People forsook me. People ostracized me. But how many of y'all know that when folks write you off, God will write you on? When the enemy, when the doctor gives his diagnosis, God will give his prognosis and say, flip to Psalm 118:17 and say, I shall not die, but live and declare the works of the Lord. Though he slay me, yet will I trust in him. The enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. But Jesus said, oh God, I feel it right quick. Jesus said, I come that you might have life and have it more abundantly. This great city of Detroit, it's time for us to live through dying places. It's time for us to move out of the test into the testimony. It's time for us to flip the script of our lives and let God turn our mess into a message. Let him turn your tears, because he'll use your tears. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy is coming in the morning. They that sow in tears shall reap in joy. Cry tonight if you have to. Weep tonight if you have to. But dry your weeping eyes, because he'll turn your tears. They that sow in tears shall reap in joy. Your tears are the seed for your harvest. Your tears are the rain that plants the seed for your harvest. You're looking at a survivor tonight. You're looking at somebody who's gone from cancer to conqueror to more than conqueror. The first 3 letters in cancer is can. I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. Young man, you can. Young woman, you can. Open up the business. Revitalize the city. Run for elected office. Write the book. Clean up the community. Power is in your mind. Power is in your spirit. AME, walk with me. AME, have vision with me, because I got vision by the Holy Ghost. Break the generational curse. Break the cancer. Break the thought of suicide. Power is in your spirit. Power is in your mind. We can do it. We can have it. We can see it. We can be it. There is enough fight left in me. Devil, you tried to push me back, but I'm moving forward, because the greatest revenge is not retaliation, but it's success, because God made you to be the best. Success in your mind, success in your education, success in your school, success in your community, success in your mentality. Power.
My God. I have to tell you, this man is too talented for me to waste him on this show tonight. We're going to have him back. He wears many hats. This is Eddie Connor. Next week, I have invited you to come back and have quite a long time on the show. And we have a call. Look at there.
Look at that.
Good evening. You're on the air. How are you?
Hey, Barry. How are you? This is Edna calling.
Edna, how are you?
I'm good. I just wanted to encourage your guest and tell him to continue to let the Lord stand up in him. That was a powerful message. And to let him know no testimony. Continue to let the Lord use you, brother. No matter what you're going through, no matter if it seems like anybody is listening to you or not, God is using you. The Holy Ghost was, hallelujah, Jesus. The Holy Ghost was all over you. I thank you, Barry, for putting him on because that was encouraging to me. Even in my trying time, God still got a word for us. The people need to come together like never before. This city needs a savior. Yes, I heard it when you said President Obama was on, but Obama can't save my soul. He might can help this economy, but he can't save your soul. Thank you, Barry, for your guest tonight. Thank you so much.
Edna, I recognize powerful people. I had heard him in an event a few weeks ago, and I ran up to him, and I guess I was very fortunate to be able to get him. I'm just letting you know we're planning on doing that 2 weeks from this coming Saturday. I'm just letting you know. This is the mother of the son that got murdered a couple months ago, and she's an avid watcher of the show. Edna, thank you very much for calling in. I will talk to you soon.
Okay, and Barry, you be like Gideon. Some of these people you're going to have to leave behind, but you go, and God's going to go with you. God bless you all.
Thank you. Take it easy.
Okay, bye now.
Okay, so you're willing to come back next week?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I can't thank you enough. And this is
Appreciate
Mr. Eddie Connor, educator extraordinaire. You're going to see more of him, and you need to see more of him all over this city because these young people need his voice and his talent. Thank you very much. Everybody stay tuned. When we come back, I'm going to play a march that I had through the neighborhood for a murder that occurred a couple years ago. I want you to see this. This is put on by the Detroit Coalition Against Violence. It's a couple years old, but I want you to see it. So we'll be right back.
You can buy one and get two free. Not one suit, but two free. Buy one suit, bring two friends. Buy one suit, bring two relatives. Buy one suit, get two free. Bring your pastor, your boss, your teacher. Buy one suit and get two free. Sermons with 90 years of experience, carrying jeans, exotic skin shoes, sets, shirts, leather, sweaters, everything for the well-dressed man. Buy one suit, get two free. Sermons on Randolph in downtown Detroit.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special bulletin.
Did you know that there are over 100,000 abandoned homes within the city of Detroit? If you are tired of abandoned dangerous houses in your neighborhood, please support the Greater Detroit Restoration Project. Please make all checks and money orders payable to the Greater Detroit Restoration Project. The mailing address, 17301 Livernois, Suite 405, Detroit, Michigan, 48221. All donations will help fund the expense of boarding up abandoned homes within the city of Detroit and Highland Park. For more information, contact Barry Ross at 248-417-9696 or Minister Malik Shabazz at 313-646-3375.
Hey, come on. Man, what is taking so long? Let's play.
Just getting a number.
Whose number?
Narcotics Anonymous.
Hey, if you need to talk.
No way, it's not for me, it's for my brother. He's constantly wasted. Come on, hoop time. Can you tell me about NA?
Call Narcotics Anonymous. We can help you.
The following program does not reflect the views and opinions of Channel 33, its management, or sponsors. You're watching Power Talk on your community TV station, UHF TV 33, Detroit, Highland Park.
Welcome back. We're live on TV 33. I want to remind you, my friend Leanne Katzman needs a liver. If you want to donate a slice of your liver, honestly, she's dying, folks. Please call 313-916-1826 at Henry Ford for Leanne Katzman. Right now, we're going to see a video of a march I did through the neighborhood. This lady got stabbed, I believe, 47 times. Then they strangled her. Then they set her house on fire. All right, a couple. They end up catching them. So right now, we're going to watch Detroit Coalition Against Violence, my organization, and a march we did on Joy and Livernois a couple years ago. Let's see it. My name is Barry Ross from the Detroit Coalition Against Violence. I formulated this organization 4 months ago for the sole purpose of getting the citizens of the city of Detroit to be vigilant over their streets and to organize vigilance with block clubs, command posts on the streets, and bring the citizens out of their homes to police their own streets in a non-violent manner. We're running with economic shortages in the police department, and the citizens need to realize that in order to save their lives, they must make a concerted effort, a unified effort, to get out of their homes, report violence, and watch what's going on in their streets. If we don't save ourselves, nobody else will. This evening on October 27th, 2010, on Wednesday evening, in about 10 minutes, we're having a march on the west side of Detroit in behalf of Clarencetta Craig. She was murdered brutally practically a year ago. They broke into her house, a couple. They strangled her, robbed her, and stabbed her 47 times and then set her house on fire. We as citizens decided that this is enough, and we're making a stand. So we're having a march in her behalf through the area.
Yes, I remember this lady. She would, I guess like take her daily walks. She would come up, every day and walk past my business, and she'd walk the area, and then 20, 30 minutes, you'd see her coming walking back by. She just, an elderly lady out taking a walk in the morning. Daily walk for exercise. But this was really bad that this happened to her. It's a shame. Something has to be done.
How you doing? My name is Herbie Felton. I'm the Herbie Felton Show on Blog Talk Radio. It's on Sundays at 10 a.m. And I'm standing here on the corner of Livernois and Linsdale with the Detroit Coalition Against Violence Movement, along with Detroit 300. What you see behind me is a gathering of citizens from Detroit, Michigan, who are gathered together for a single purpose: to end violence in this city of Detroit. As you know, violence has been running rampant for a while, and now me and the members of the Detroit 300 and Detroit Coalition Against Violence and other community groups have all gathered together for this great, great cause.
We are the Detroit Coalition Against Violence. Don't interfere. Speak up, speak out, stay safe. We are the Detroit Coalition Against Violence. Don't interfere. Speak up, speak out, stay safe. Don't interfere. Speak up, speak out, stay safe. We are the Detroit Coalition Against Violence. Don't interfere. Speak up, speak out, stay safe. Don't interfere. Speak up, speak out, stay safe. We are the Detroit Coalition Against Violence. Don't say. We are the Detroit.
Pastor David Bullock here, Detroit Coalition Against Violence. This is such a wonderful event, unifying Detroit. We have to stand up against the violence in our community. We have to come together and take our community back. We're not afraid, we're not scared, and we are together.
We are the Detroit Coalition Against Violence. We are the Detroit Coalition Against Violence. Don't interfere. Speak up.
I'm Gerald Williams, a part of Detroit 300. We're here today to support the coalition. When men speak up, kids sit down, boys sit down.
Glad to have you around here. I'm proud to have you around here to help this because there's a lot of things go on in this neighborhood. There was shooting last night.
Things get done by those who do the work.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right? Right. We're not going to sit downtown you know, we're not going to march downtown and all that. It's time
in the neighborhood
to do some work.
That's
and
right.
this is what putting the work in is about.
Work in.
Brother Malik, come on, say a prayer for us, brother.
Let's give God a hand clap. Man, I just want to say, within the boundaries of the 313 and everywhere, but you crawl before we walk.
That's right.
Right. We do not want anybody beaten. We don't want anybody robbed.
That's right.
We don't want anyone terrorized. We don't want anybody stabbed 47 times. We don't want them or their house set on fire. Amen?
Amen.
You can be black. You can be white. You can be purple. In Detroit. Amen? Amen. And we are saying what Mayor Young said to all criminals when he took office. And I paraphrase him. If you want to deal crack, if you want to deal heroin, if you want to deal ecstasy, if you want to beat people up, if you want to rape women, if you want to rob children at bus stops in the morning going to school, or if you want to shoot them in the back like a coward when they're coming from Sunday school, if you want to carjack, you want to be a stick-up artist, you want to be a home invasion person, you need to leave the city of Detroit. That's right. We go in there and give him a hand. Now, my comrade here, my brother, he doesn't live here. And he doesn't look like us. He don't have to do this.
Come on.
But he is here doing this, and that's a beautiful thing.
Come on.
Let's give God a hand clap. The most important thing is right or wrong. Let's give God a hand clap. If you are white, but you are trying to do right, you are my brother, and you are my sister. Let's give God a hand clap. But if you are wrong, and you trying to do wrong, your being black is not going, you're not going to slide back because you black. We thank you, Lord, for all the past victories. We thank you, Lord, for bringing us through chattel enslavement, which is the worst treatment that any human being on earth have ever suffered. We know if it was up to certain people, wouldn't be no Negroes anywhere on the planet. But we know that they don't have the last say. You have the last say, and the total say, and the only say, and you are the only way. So we thank you, Lord, for all the victories of the past. We thank you for the victory of today. And Lord, we thank you in advance for all the victories which we know are to come.
Yes, sir.
Lord, with your blessing and your permission, we're going to set up your kingdom of peace, power, prosperity, and love where we may live on this earth. Not only pie in the sky in the sweet by and by when we die, but also something sound on the ground.
Come on.
You and I still around. Thank you, Father. Let's give God a hand clap. Give God a big hand clap.
Yeah.
I turn it back over to the convener and the leader of the Detroit Coalition Against Violence, Comrade Barry Ross. Let us give him a big hand.
First of all, I'm not the leader, I'm the founder. Secondly, this is the second time this week they made the white guy go last. That's enough of that.
All right. We've been last a long time.
All right, I'll get this.
It's all good.
All right, I'm just playing. Listen, does everybody know the difference between a coward and a hero? Well, I'm going to tell you my version. They both feel the same way inside, except the coward doesn't act and do what he needs to do. Now, I'm afraid to be out here, but I'm out here. I've been saying this all the time. My passion to make a difference is way greater than my fear. And this is the first time in my life where I felt strongly enough that I wanted to go out and confront my fear and do what needs to be done.
Oh, yeah.
So, contrary to what Malik said, I do have to be out here because this is saving my life.
Yes, sir.
And I want to make a difference. Now, I'm not out here for money.
Come on.
Or political agenda. This is straight up raw helping people get into their communities and
Come
get
on.
down and dirty.
Come on.
That's why I'm out here.
Come on.
I'm out here for the people, not for me. I'm not out here to be on the news. The only news I want to be on is to get other people to see what we're doing.
Come
There's
on.
major movements going on in Detroit. Now is the time.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Now is the time
That's right.
for change. It's election week next week. Everybody needs to get out and vote.
Come on.
Make a difference. You know, everyone says, well, why should I vote? My vote don't matter. It ain't going to make a difference, but it does.
Come on.
It's just like the people that say, well, why should I not throw my cup out of the
There you
window?
go. Right.
Everybody else does.
That's
You
right.
got to be different. You got to stand up and vote. It's real important.
right.
You got the right to
exactly.
vote. How many of you didn't have the right to vote?
Come on. Sure did.
Now you got the right to vote.
Oh, yeah, sure
you
do.
deserve to vote and
That's
make
right.
a difference.
That's right.
So I just want to say I'm proud that we started this. And this is my right-hand man, Lindsay, everybody.
That's right.
And listen, I'm Jewish, I think. He's a Muslim. It doesn't matter.
Come
We
on.
all
right.
have to stick together to make the, forget what someone's faith is or their creed or their color.
Come on.
It's time to go beyond that crap.
Yes.
It's
We all
one
play
God,
together.
one people, one nation.
That's right.
So I just want to say I'm
God.
proud of this. I'm proud
Come
to be here. And our deepest
Oh,
sympathies
yes,
right
under
now,
God.
Claire said, is
Oh, that's
family.
good. That's right.
And we're going to have a family member speak in a minute.
Everybody that's supposed to be here right now is supposed to be here.
That's right.
So we want to continue this effort. We want our hearts definitely go out to the Craig family. Clarence said it, she was taken advantage of because she was nice. Because she was nice. And check this out, she wasn't soft. You know what I'm saying? So we don't want this type of activity in our community, and the only way to get through that is to do what we're doing right now.
That's right.
One house, one family, one person at a time.
Come on. That's right.
You know. So I want to bring up Brother Victor Muhammad. He's gonna say a few words, and we're not gonna belabor this moment because the family is really still suffering.
That's right.
You know,
That's right. That's right.
God himself is crying today. There's events such as these that will spark movement in those who sat around and said, it didn't happen to me, so I don't have anything to do with it. But it's when these type of events come, this is when the righteous of God come together as one. And that's when you will hear him come amongst us. And then you will hear extraordinary people do extraordinary things.
That's
Her
right.
life is not without vain. Because it is an example for all of us who sit back and look out the window and do nothing. There's all of us who see someone else's car get broken into and say, good thing it wasn't mine. And you see some other child get snatched and seen on television as a victim of abduction. It comes a point in time, dear family, where we all have to raise up and take our responsibility for the same reason why sperm met ovum, that you are here today. Because God put you on this planet for this moment to change this moment.
That's right.
See, we're living in a world where brother said he was a Jew and he's a Muslim and I'm a follower of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. See, it's these differences that we have amongst us that is created by the devil himself. That's
right.
So he has taken his time to constantly make us individualists when we should be a human family.
Come on.
So I say, dear family, do not let yourself walk away from here as an individual say, oh, it's a sad thing what happened to that sister. Because if we do not cultivate the garden and pull the weeds as we see them grow, it will rise up and choke one of your roses.
Come on.
And it is when that happens, that is when you're going to want to act. And it may be you yourself. Because this is a time when God is tired of playing with us for playing with his people.
Come on. Come on.
So this is our time to put the blood on the lamb in each and every one of our doors so that we stand united as one, Detroit. There's those who are looking at Detroit. They want Detroit.
Come on.
They are standing around like the vultures as the blood goes higher and higher in Detroit, and they're going to take Detroit from us. We should fear man the way we fear God. So I tell you, dear family, I'm humbly humbly honored to be given this opportunity. But my heart is heavy. My heart is heavy because I lost someone.
Now you want to know.
I lost a family member. It's the family member I just haven't met yet. Come on. But the bottom line is this. If we stop these 6 degrees of separation and start leading each other the way we should, and we start speaking to each other, we start doing family things. Then that's when God will shine on us, and he'll run these devils up off of this planet. But it isn't until we come together. Holy Quran says this, I'll end on this. God has never helped a person who didn't start helping himself first. So I thank you for this time. My condolences go out on behalf of the most honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, Minister Rasul Muhammad, our local minister here, and the whole entire nation of Islam, who is your brothers and sisters in the cause of freedom, justice, and equality. I love you all. May Allah continue to bless us and help us all with understanding. Thank you. Amen.
And we thank God for this group that had the intelligence to organize, to take this thing to the streets.
Come
Because
on.
it's obvious the government cannot handle it.
Come on.
And I am blessed to be among you. But I want to say to each of you all, let's stay in tune with one another.
That's right.
Yes. We depend on you. You depend on us. Let's stay together, have one another's number, and we should be strong enough not to ever let this happen around here no more.
That's right.
It might not seem like they're watching, but somebody is watching you. Somebody will let somebody know when you do something, how you did it.
That's right.
Where you did it.
That's
and
right.
what you did.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
Okay, so I'd like to thank everybody for coming together at this time. And DPD, thank you so much.
We are concerned citizens who have a stake in a strong Detroit. There is much work to do in the neighborhoods now, and the city administration can't nor should do it at all. We take the position that it starts here with us, helping us. We're back live on TV 33, and this was a couple years ago, and the murder rate has highly escalated even since then. And you heard my words. My name is Barry Ross from the Detroit Coalition Against Violence. I formulated this organization 4 months ago for the sole purpose of getting the citizens of... You heard my words. I'm going to take a quick call, so I'll get back with that thought. Good evening.
Good evening.
Did you recognize yourself tonight on that? Did you see that?
Yeah, I think I recognize that guy.
How was the president?
Good. You know, I was flipping back and forth between the president and you interviewing the young. You ran the tape of the young man, and you know, then you ran the rally. Mm-hmm. But the president was great, man. From what I saw, I can't wait. You know, I'll try to record the rebroadcast on cable. But from what I heard, he was outstanding, man. You know, he's been getting a lot of criticism for crying when Caucasian children are murdered, and we all should cry about Sandy Hook. But, you know, African American children are being murdered every day. But he had the mother of the young 15-year-old in Chicago.
Right, the beautiful
that
girl.
performed at the White House.
Right.
A few weeks ago for him.
The beautiful child. She was beautiful.
Yes.
Yes.
And she was murdered. Well, he had her mother there.
Mm-hmm.
He recognized her. They put a picture of her up on the screen. He talked about her, you know. It was really good to see. And, you know, he did send the First Lady, Michelle, to the homegoing ceremony.
Oh, great.
And the president, several times, from what I was able to see, talked about doing something for poor people. And he was using the words poor people. Not just middle class, but poor people, you know?
Well, Malik.
So I think, you know, I think that's just outstanding because, you know, I'm all for helping, supporting, buffering, saving the middle class, but I'm also for the poor and the poor and the needy being given every opportunity and helping hand up to move to the middle class. And the president was talking that tonight, and I am very, very happy to hear that. You know, now he's been reelected, so I guess there's things he doesn't have to worry about, you know?
Yeah, I just want to tell you right after you had left, I was speaking with our engineer, Hodo, about my lack of interest on going to most community meetings when that's all they are is meetings. And even though the president's heart is where we want it to be, he is in a position where his hands are tied a lot of time to get things done.
Right.
So words are great, but the deeds is what we need, and you know that.
Oh, yeah, definitely. We need the deeds, but it's good to hear it, you know. I mean,
yeah.
If you won't say it, chances are little that you'll do it. You know what I'm saying?
It's a start. And I taped it, so I'm going to watch it when I get home. And my
yeah,
guest,
I'm looking forward to watching the whole thing myself.
My guest, Eddie Connor, is coming back next week, and he's going to have his own segment. He was just so profound, so important, and people need to hear what he has to say for mentoring, educating the young. I got a couple calls coming in, but I'm not even going to take them. Because did you have something in a hot minute, what you wanted to talk about real quick? Do you have something to say other than?
Well, we're continuing to collect funds for Sister Brenda Hill, hardworking sister, with Crime Stoppers and several other organizations, though her main group is Crime Stoppers. And she does a great job with them, and they do a great job in the community. You know, her house was burnt down. She lost everything, and we're asking people to please make a donation. No donations too big, no donations too small. Brenda Hill, 17301 Livernois, Suite 405, Detroit, Michigan, 48221.
And next week, if they want, Malik, they can also bring it to you on your show at 160 Victor, and we want everyone to know that Brenda Hill is an action woman. She's on more organizations than you can shake a stick at, goes out in the streets for missing people, missing children, shot children. She puts in a lot of effort, Crime Stoppers, as you know.
Murdered people been murdered.
You got it. So we want to help
Kidnap women, you know, all of that. Health fairs.
You got it.
With the Unified Detroit Coalition. I mean, Brenda is a go-getter. You know, she's been out here with several groups these last, 3 years, hard, and she needs help.
Yes.
She didn't ask us to do this. She tried to talk us out of doing it. We're doing it because there's a need and because we can.
She lost everything she owned. Her house burnt. All that's left is a shell. Everything she owns, no insurance, nothing. This woman's in school. Her son was murdered a few years ago. It inspired her to get out and become an activist, so we want to help her. Malik, I got another minute. I'm going to take anything else real quick. Are we good?
No, just that you had a great program from what I was able to see tonight, and my hat's off to you, my brother.
And
congratulations. Keep it going. Keep doing it.
Congratulations to you and Miss Redmond. One of the two of you is going to be doing what?
One of us is going to run for council.
Okay. You hear
now,
that,
we're
everybody?
trying to figure out, and we're in prayer as to who, but it's going to be one of us.
All right. I love you. I'll see you soon. Thank you.
Okay, have peace.
You too. Good evening. You're on. Hello.
Hello.
You have to cut your TV down.
Okay.
And I got about 1 minute. 1 minute. My phones are lighting up, but we got to go. What can we do for you?
Listen, I just wanted to say that I applaud all your efforts, especially with the Detroit Coalition Against Violence. I'm glad to see that you're out there in the fight, trying to make our city better. And I just wanted to mention that on the air because you all are doing what's necessary to make a difference. There are many of us in the city of Detroit that are hamstrung because of family and job constraints and would like to be out there in the fight with you. But when we see that that our people are taking up the fight with us, for us, we just wanted to applaud your efforts. That's all.
Thank you very much. I'm sorry that I have to be out there, but I appreciate your call. Good evening. Hello.
Yes, Mr. Ross?
Yes.
Hey, how are you tonight, sir?
Fine. How are you? We have about a minute, and we're going to close out the show.
Yes, I understand, sir. Couple things. One, I think Malik Shabazz would be great on the city council.
Yes.
I think yourself should also consider running at some point in the office. And the only thing that I was really disappointed in with Mr. Shabazz's show tonight was Charlie LaDuff. He was a real buffoon. He acted like he was drunk. And quite frankly, I don't like him.
You know Charlie's full of antics, and Charlie was not drunk, but every time he comes on Malik's show, he does a little bit of clowning. He's close with Malik. They're very close friends, and he feels comfortable here, so he lets go. I appreciate your call. Hello, you're my last call, and we're closing out in about 30 seconds. How are you? Hello? Okay. Anybody there? Okay, we'll see everybody next week. Thank you, Eddie Connor. We'll be back with you next week. And we're going to have Minister Shabazz on next week, and we're going to talk about what you're talking about Malik that's not true. And you know I defend him, and he is my brother. So everybody have a safe week. We'll be back next week. Good night. Tuesdays, 9 p.m. on TV 33. Join me, Barry Ross, on Mixing It Up. We'll feature informative community organizations that will offer solutions to Wayne County residents in reference to employment, safety, and security within neighborhoods, job training, education, and mentoring programs. Remember, Tuesdays, 9 p.m. Join me, Barry Ross, Mixing It Up on TV 33.